Welcome to the Butterfly Effect. I'm Chris Horner, and we're talking Paris-Nice 2021. This is stage one, the start of the big stage races in the European peloton. We got a great field here. Primoz Roglic is back in action. Last year's Tour of Spain winner, last year's Tour de France highlight for almost 3 weeks. He basically controlled the Tour de France and then, of course, finished second with Tadej Pogacar, taking the win in the time trial. But here we get to see Primoz Roglic, and he won everything last year. So it's cold start. There's a little bit of wind, and you can tell it's just that kind of wind where the riders are nervous. They're curb to curb for the whole course of today's stage one. And you know at any moment the wind can change and all of a sudden crosswinds can happen. We don't get that today. So we get a pretty boring stage. We get some crashes, but not that many when you consider we're watching Paris-Nice, and that's because the roads are dry. The stress is high, so you're still going to get the crashes. There's tons of traffic and furniture out there that's just holding up the riders and causing the peloton to split, lock up the brakes, narrow up, thin out, bunch back up again, right turns, left turns, fast descents on the stage, but nothing that shows to the TV about how exciting the race is. If you're one of the riders, though, and you're curb to curb for 100 miles, you know today was not boring. Starts off right away with total direct energy. One single rider, Fabien Dubé, getting up the road, and he does a good job. He's doing 40, 45K an hour up there, but not enough to cause real problems in the back. Everything in the field is guys worrying about what may happen because this is stage one of the big races here at Paris-Nice. Now with 53K to go, Philippe Gilbert lights it up with his Lotto Soudal teammate. The total direct energy, Christopher Lawless goes with. You'll see Philippe Gilbert argue a little bit with Lawless, but Lawless isn't taking a pull. I couldn't figure out exactly why. He's got a teammate up the road, but he's almost caught anyways. Clearly, his teammate's not going to ride solo to the finish, so why not rotate through with Philippe Gilbert and the other Lotto Soudal rider and go ahead and try to make this a bike race. Then, 3 kilometers later, we see why Christopher Lawless didn't want to ride. He's got terrible form. Maybe he's sick. Maybe he's injured. Maybe he hasn't been training or something. I'm kind of laughing a little bit when I watch him because you just see him get popped on a pretty small hill with no acceleration from any of the guys in the break, and he's already coming off the back. And I'm laughing, folks, because I've been there. I can remember doing races in the 90s. Marc Matteo, my Frances de Jour director, calling me up telling me, Chris, you got to do Flèche Wallonne and you got to do Liège, Bastogne-Liège. And I'm talking to Marc Matteo saying, there's no way. I need to stay home. I need to train. I'm overweight. I'm not fit. My legs are terrible. He forces me to do Flèche Wallonne. I get dropped the first time up the Mur. After the race, he comes over to me and he pats me on the shoulder and he says, yeah, we're going to send you back home to train. So when I'm watching Christopher Lawless there and he's getting dropped for no reason at all, it looks like to me, honestly, it looks like overweight and not enough training. But of course, I don't have the inside story. Maybe he's been sick or injured or something like that. But I'm more laughing here because I just remember what that's like. And you're still able to come back and win something later in the season or the years later. So Christopher Lawless, stay in there. It was an ugly day for you today. Second to last finisher on the stage. Massive time loss and getting dropped for no reason whatsoever. But you can come back and you can still win. So stay in there. Now let's get back to the action because with 33K to go, it's none other than Richie Porte who hits the deck, and clearly he hits the deck hard and hurts himself. Drops out 1K later. That's the problem with these early stages in Paris-Nice, is that there's so much stress and so much traffic furniture, so many lefts and rights, ups and downs, narrowing, thinning out, getting fat again in the peloton, and then just wash and repeat the whole time. Brakes coming on, legs sprinting, and that's the whole stage. It looks boring to us on TV, but it is not boring back there for the riders. A lot of stress going on. Poor Richie Porte hits the ground again, and he's out of Paris-Nice. Now with 2K to go, we see Frances de Jour on the front. Frances de Jour had done from mile 0 all the way to the finish, but at the line, of course, we all know they're going to come up short. With 2K to go, though, they're looking good. They got 4 guys on the front. I'm thinking they need 5, but they got 4, and the 4th rider that's directly on the front, he's doing a good job. He's easily doing a 600-meter pull. That's an amazing pull to get the riders to under 1K to go. You don't see DeCoonick Quick-Step come into the frame until 1.7K to go, and that's their MO. They like to just bum rush everyone, take the front, and win the sprint with Sam Bennett. Today's a bit different, though, even for DeCoonick Quick-Step, too. They have only 3 guys. Of course, one's Morkov, and he's one of the best lead-out guys in the business, but he ain't going to be able to take it from 1.5 meters. So you know once you see the first guy bringing up Sam Bennett up near the front, when he pulls off, they got to play the wait-and-see game. And this is a stressful game because you know they got to go back into that group. They got to get bumped around in the washing machine effect. They got to hold their position, bump shoulders, bump elbows, bump handlebars, and that's going to be from 1.5 all the way to the finish. Now, with just as we go under 1K to go, FDJ's been on the front all day long. Their number 4 guy who's on the front pulls off. This is where things go wrong. Number 3 rider for them, he can only do about 200 meters. And he really needed to do from 1K all the way into at least 600, but probably 500 meters, so that the last guy left for Arnold Dumas has a big hit at that 400 meters to get Arnold Dumas to 300 at least, but you really want about 200 meters to go and then launch Arnold Dumas because it's a slight uphill run to the finish. Instead, they're going to come up short. Once their number 3 rider can only do 200 meters, Arnold Dumas is in trouble. He's got one teammate in front of him now, and that guy's basically left doing from 700 meters, if not 800 meters to the line. That's going to be too far. In the back, that causes a little chaos in the back now because the speed's not going to be as fast, and they're going to bunch up a little bit. Sam Bennett, Michael Morkov's his lead-out guy, but they're trapped. You're going to see Michael Morkov with 1K or so to go. He's looking back, and he's looking around, trying to figure out what side Sam Bennett is on behind him so he knows if he can push some riders out of the way and open a gap. If Sam's there on his left side, then of course Michael Morkov's going to try to go right and open up a lane. If Sam's on the right side of his rear wheel, then he's going to try to push right, but they don't have much space to play with. And right under the 1K banner, the FDJ rider that was pulls off. He relaxes a little bit too much, and you can't relax. It's not his fault because of the crash, but when you relax a little bit and you get bumped, to me it looks like, and it's hard to tell, it looks like he's just drifting back on the left side. He gets bumped by someone, loses the front wheel, tangles up, and then there's a big crash behind. Luckily, it didn't affect the big sprinters on this stage 1 of Paris-Nice. But Sam Bennett now is stuck, and he is basically, he's being held hostage. He can't go anywhere. He can't go right, can't go left, can't go forward. The only option you can do is go back, but you're not going to win if you're going to hit the brakes and go backwards. So he's got to be patient. He's got to wait for something to happen. As FDJ's last guy tries to accelerate from far out, that'll open up a little bit of the lane so that now Sam Bennett has the right side that he can go, but it's still too early to start a sprint, so he's staying patient. FDJ riders move over to the right. That causes Sam Bennett to get blocked in. Now Sam Bennett's actually watching. Mads Pedersen is getting into it with Christophe Laporte, the Cofidis rider, comes up and starts bumping Mads Pedersen, and he basically wins that fight. Mads Pedersen now is out in the wind, so he's going to go up, and now he's going to fight with none other than Arnold Dumas, whose Française de Jour team has been doing the lead out for the last 100 miles. Now we're at the finish. They're bumping. Sam Bennett's back there, and he's watching them bump, and he can see that right side lane doesn't look like it's going to open up. So now for sure he's looking left to see if there's some way he can go left. When that window opens up, it's because of the Bora Hansgrohe rider really accelerates hard. Sam Bennett basically just clears the road left. He clears it of the UAE Team Emirates rider. Then he takes Brian Cocard from BB Hotels, clears him left. Now he's got an open lane, and he can accelerate there on Pascal Ackermann's wheel. He's got a great setup there. While Arnold Dumas is bumping with Mads Pedersen, he's clearing the lane, going exit stage left. He's got the perfect wheel with Bora Hansgrohe. Now, Bora Hansgrohe, with a few hundred meters to go, Pascal Ackermann has the best lead out in this whole race today and should have won the stage if his legs were as good as anyone else's. You could even be slightly better, but his legs were not as good as the other sprinters, and that's why he ends up with 5th or 6th on the stage. But Pascal Ackermann, in my opinion, he had the best, easiest, smooth line all the way from his Bora Hansgrohe team lead out to win this stage, but just doesn't have the legs. When the Pascal Ackermann's Bora Hansgrohe teammate pulls off, he pulls off left, and he keeps some speed going. That helps Sam Bennett slingshot up to his wheel, and then a second exit stage left around the Bora Hansgrohe rider, and now clearly his legs are the best. Remember, Arnold Dumas had been over there fighting with Mads Pedersen. Mads Pedersen had already been fighting with Christophe Laporte, so he's been bumping bars twice in the last 400 meters of this race. His legs aren't going to be that good now. He's been in the wind and bumping. Arnold Dumas has been pushed in the wind and bumping. His legs aren't going to be that good, so they get a little bit of room there for why they lost. But Pascal Ackermann, he had a great line, a super lead out, straight shot to the line. But Sam Bennett with 2 exit stage lefts, aggressive ones and really well timed and just made to perfection. When he does his second left and around the Bora Hansgrohe lead out, his sprint to the line is absolutely beautiful, and he smokes everyone and leaves them fighting for 2nd and 3rd. That's how you break down today's stage on the butterfly effect. Patience, timing, and of course, great form. Sam Bennett's got all of those in the bag right now, along with a strong Deceuninck Quick-Step team. Look forward to him winning some more stages at this race in Paris-Nice. He's on form. Great job, Sam Bennett. Arnold Dumas with Frances de Jure, you guys rode hard, just came up short at the end. And of course, Mads Pedersen, man, you win my vote for the best boxing of anything I've seen for the finish of these stages in 2021. Congratulations. Hope you guys like the butterfly effect. See you real soon on stage 2. Like and subscribe, and we'll keep the content coming.